Hi everyone, my name is Tormali V Francis. I'm a certified nutritionist and also I work as a researcher.
Hi, my name is Alexandria Senanayake. I am the co-founder and one of the coaches here at CrossFit Salon.
So what are the common myths when it comes to nutrition and training? I know people say carbs are bad, but then we just touch base on it. But no, we do need carbs. That is where we get the energy from.
Absolutely.
So it's again the portion control and what types of carbs should they reach out to? When you say carbs, I think people are confused.
The conception of carbs are the enemy for women specifically is a weight loss thing, let's be honest. And carbs have become the enemy because I think it was in the 80s where this low carb diet, Atkins.
Yes, the Atkins diet.
Okay. So it's a very low carb diet and people were using that as like a formula to kind of lose weight.
Right.
But then what happened to a low carb diet, it was literally meant for people who were overweight. When you're overweight, you need to be on a calorie deficit. And we say reduce the carbs. Number one, because you're eating too much of it.
Right.
For your, if you don't need so much of it, why are you eating it? It's going to store as fat, let's be honest. That's how your body's going to process excess carbohydrates. So if, for example, we want to look at carbohydrates, we need to look at the type of carbohydrates. A lot of people just label carbohydrates are bad, but most people are looking at carbohydrates that come in packaging, which are highly processed, palm oil, all sorts of fillers in that product. And you're eating more synthetic stuff than real food. So when we talk about real carbohydrates, we're talking about our vegetables. We're talking fruits come into that package as well. We're talking about certain starches, legumes, beans. Real food carbohydrates versus processed food carbohydrates, chips, cookies, popcorn. I mean,
all of that.
All of that. So that's where this whole,
And it's not like, if you just take carbohydrates, so it's not only carbohydrate, it's packaged with fiber, with your micronutrients and vitamins and so much more
in your whole food version.
In your whole food version. So when they say carbs, they just, like Alexa mentioned, always like, oh, I need to less of it to lose weight.
It's eat the right type of carbohydrates. And I think that's the biggest misconception, is that not all carbs are equal. You get the good ones and you get the not so good ones. So let's try and stay on to the whole food version of carbohydrates that are nutrient dense with vitamins, minerals and all of that, than going for the processed stuff.
So when you have a client coming to you who is overweight, and they're probably used to having lots of bread and rice, what advice would you give them? I mean, I'm sure it's not, you can't completely change them on the onset. You'd want to go slow on them, perhaps make the 4 slice into 2. What kind of strategies you have in place?
I just first really try to assess their eating behavior currently. And then I tend to make small changes, because when you head on try to be like, okay, let's remove this out of their daily routine, it's gonna be a lot on them. So making small changes initially and really educating them on the good and bad about it, because I think they've reached out for help, for support, because they're not aware of what they've been doing is wrong. So really doing small steps and helping them to see the good and bad of their eating behavior and then changing it. Because as I said, this is 100% a mental game as well. Because someone who's used to eating bread or pasta, a lot of pasta, carb heavy diet, it's not going to be easy to just take on the whole turn and be like, okay, let me just focus on vegetables, protein, the good stuff.
Not at all.
But it's about educating them and making small steps, because I think everyone today, when you talk about myths, I think everyone we are in this consumption world, right? Like on social media, everywhere, we're just consuming what everyone else is showing. Even with, I think, nutrition and food in general.
And training, everything.
Everything. Like, it blows my mind, because it's on their fingertips. They see something, that's what they're supposed to do. But in reality, you need to know what your body needs and what you want to achieve. And that's where it comes down, and really not being, because a lot of people, when they're the first person who's overeating and whatnot, not to be too hard on themselves, because again, it's going to take time. So
So long
take those
term.
small steps because those small steps are going to be big steps for you.
That's right.
So it's for me, I always focus on small steps and then slowly seeing change. And when they see the results, they're motivated. They're like, okay, let's get to this.
It's working.
And,
Yeah,
it's working.
Yeah.
Because that's that time they need for it to just flip and switch and just for them to keep at it.
Okay.
Because this is not, I mean, we don't just train and eat well for like a week, right? This is every single day.
Yeah.
So
it's a lifelong process,
exactly.
right? You've got to
And
keep
with-
going.
And we're doing it, as you mentioned earlier on, it's to be mobile when you're older. Like, you know, for that, to be able to raise your children in a better
To be
environment.
independent,
Exactly.
to live gracefully.
And it's
Absolutely. When we're older, right?
Yeah, and it's not only about losing weight, gaining weight, but more on like feel strong, feel good in your own body.
Yeah.
I think that's how I see it most of the time.
Okay. What's your take on caffeine? I know it's...
Caffeine.
Yeah?
I have caffeine, but I am very sensitive
Okay.
personally. I only have a cup in the morning, and again, 5
Is
times
it
a
with
week.
milk, without milk?
Black coffee.
Yeah.
Nothing. So I don't have anything in it. But again, recommendations on caffeine is that we limit it ideally 8 to 10 hours before you go to bed. Yeah. Which means by, if you're sleeping at 10, like you want to be able to make sure that you're not having anything after 12 noon.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it support if you have a cup of just black coffee before training? Does it give you like the quick energy that...
Some people use it as pre-workout.
It does, yeah. Some people do use it.
Some people use it pre-workout, but I find that sometimes if you've got nothing in your stomach, and that's the
that's
only
not
thing you
good.
have, you get a bit of gastritis because it's very acidic.
And bloats?
Not so much bloating, it's more the acidity of it because it's black coffee. There's no milk in it to cut, and then you've just got the bile in your tummy because you haven't eaten anything. So if you're having the coffee, again, make sure that you're eating something as well. It's again not fasted. Coffee does not consider breaking fast.
Exactly, yes.
In terms of it's there's no carbohydrates or protein in that for you to fuel your workout. So that's more of like a energy and a mental clarity as opposed to it's fueling my workout.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. So are supplements necessary to maximize gains from training, or should we always take it from whole food?
I personally believe that if you are able to get your nutrition from whole foods through your meals, I think go for it. But it's not always necessary that you need to supplement. Maybe you're deficient in a certain vitamin or mineral and then you can supplement. For example, with protein powder, if you think you can't reach that protein intake you'd want to, then go for that option.
Right.
Don't always, start off with like, okay, I think I need to get my protein powder. That's not how it works. Make sure I think you just figure out your food first and see how much you can achieve through your food. And if you can't, because either you're busy or you don't have time to prepare, or whatever, you need a quick fix, then maybe have that protein shake,
How do they know the amount of protein that one should take? The protein intake per person, how do they calculate? How should they calculate it?
I think it really depends very individually and with what you want, even especially when it comes to training, like what do you want to see or how do you want to perform? Do you want to be more stronger? Do you want to be able to hit your PRs? Then you need to see, okay, I need to increase my protein. And I can't just say this is the amount. It really comes down to the person because there's so much that goes into trying to get how much one person should have.
Yeah, they do have the protein calculators out there, right? Where they say 1 pound.
Well, usually the recommendation is a gram per body weight in pounds. Right. So, that's just basic.
Okay.
If you are planning to build muscle, Andy mentioned this in the last podcast, muscle is the most expensive real estate on your body in terms of you need to keep feeding it, and it's expensive because protein is expensive. Meats,
of course.
So it again comes down to, I think, how you're going to...
It really depends on what, where do you want to see yourself in terms of if you want to train harder, be more stronger, even lose weight, all of that. It really comes down to what they want. And there's no, I think I was talking to Alexi as well, there is no one size fits all in nutrition. I truly believe in that because every person is different and you need to really kind of really look at your life and your body and your routine and see how nutrition fits in for you, especially.
Okay.
You know?
Because we have a lot of these things from childhood. Like, you know, we talked about this socially, culturally, the types of meals we eat.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of that is from our childhood. So our relationship with food starts from we are like 2 years old, let's be honest. So maybe we don't have a lot of that control as an adult, but we can look back and see, well, hey, what are my self-limiting beliefs about food? Or what are the myths or the perceptions I've had in labeling food good or bad? Those are all psychological factors.
Yeah, because food, I mean, you can calculate, you can measure it and everything, that's great. But I think food is so much more because food is, even in our culture, socially, like this is what we bond over food. And that itself says it all. Like let it be festivals, let it be birthday celebrations, like everywhere there's food, you know? So I think it's really important, yes, if you are really regiment in terms of what you want to achieve, then get on to like, you know, make sure you're achieving those. But always come at it in a very mindful way is very important.
So you can sustain it long term.
Right. So even those guides you were talking about, online calculators, where they'll go and tell you your macronutrient breakdowns, that's a guide. That's not a, here, you need to implement this from day one. Because chances are they're asking you a lot more than you're currently eating. And again, you're going to be like, overwhelmed. So it's the idea of, here, these are your basic macros. Where are you at right now? And what are the easy, sustainable steps we can take to improve upon that? And so your 0 to 3 months will look different from your 3 to 6 months to your 6 to 12 months, because maybe after a year, you're more confident in your choices. To make those tiny tweaks to be like, oh, I'm doing an endurance session today, I'm going to eat more carbs. You know, so
and you're not afraid anymore, right?
100%, you're not, because you have the facts and the science that you know, and you see the results by just following the plan.
And when you remove the limits, you really see how much more you can achieve, honestly. And I think personally as well, me being a nutritionist, people think I've got it all figured out, but in reality, it's not how it is. Life happens. So it's really when you figure out what you want, and as she said, if you're doing an endurance workout, fuel it as for that. You know? So really thinking about it a bit more.
Okay. Touching a little bit on vegan diet. I know it's a trending...
Sorry, what?
Vegan diet.
Vegan diet. Okay.
And it's a trending lifestyle choice now. And do you think it's sufficient for a performance athlete or someone who's got a particular goal to achieve? Do you think they are able to get all their nutrients through plant-based food?
Okay.
I don't have experience because I'm not a vegan. So I don't, and I haven't had clients that were vegan. I don't think you can say, oh my God, they'll never survive, because there are athletes out there, professional athletes that are vegan.
Yes.
I think you have to be a lot more decisive in your food choices and the variety of foods that you're getting from plant-based diets.
Okay.
Sometimes over here, we're not as accessible with that stuff. So it's going to be harder for an athlete who is vegan in nature to get those things.
I think when it comes to vegan diet in Sri Lanka, we do have fruits and vegetables, but in comparison to other countries, access to certain foods, we don't have it here. But there are still people who are vegan here. Very tough, very, very tough, because I think they're either deficient in certain mineral or a vitamin. So it really goes back down to the whole planning again and making sure you are taking in your protein, your minerals, your vitamins, because you tend to miss out on that when you are on a vegan diet.
B12 specifically as well, and that supports energy, and so that's why you can feel like you're always tired. Because we get B12 from the meats and all the animal-based products, and so those are certain things, iron, like iron and all of that, iron, and particularly this B12 that athletes may be deficient in, and that's when they need to supplement.
Right.
So those are, I think, the considerations where people need to supplement because they're not able to, because of their restrictive eating style, that they can't get that food in.
Okay. Yeah. Should women, when training, intentionally make changes to their diet during the menstrual cycle, or if they have hormonal fluctuations due to whatever underlying conditions?
I think that's something that's very personable. In my previous discussion with you, I think we talked about tracking your cycle, your menstrual cycle, and that's already going to highlight to you when you have your highs and lows in terms of mood, in terms of energy, in terms of training performance. Using those, you can try to make tiny adjustments to how you're eating during those phases. Usually in the luteal phase, which is that 7-day time span before you get your period, generally we have a lot of brain fog, a lot of fatigue. And again, those are because of the rising hormones. So essentially we can try increasing our carbohydrate intake specifically to help again support energy levels and mood as well. And also to avoid those sugary cravings that we get during that phase before the period.
Luteal phase, I tell you,
it's the hardest.
Struggle,
It's a struggle.
And during the menstrual phase, so when we're actually bleeding, I think obviously with bleeding you're going to lose a lot of iron, and so we generally, if you're feeling very, very low energy and feeling sometimes dizzy or lightheaded, it could indicate that your iron levels are low. And so you might need to supplement that through real food. I mean, we can get that from dark leafy greens, we can get that from meats. So those are things I would say individually you'll need to kind of reassess, hey, do I need more or less? And hydration, very, very important during that luteal phase. And during, because like I said, thermoregulation in our body during that period is not very good. So we tend to overheat. Our tolerance for heat is less. And so we need to find strategies in terms of hydration, keeping our body cool so that we don't overheat.
What strategies have you got for someone who is in a weight plateau?
In a way?
They've been in a constant weight for a long period of time.
I think when that happens, it's such a struggle for a lot of people. But I think maybe tweaking a bit in terms of what they're eating, and also with movement, and really trying things a bit differently. I think approaching it a bit more differently, because I mean, there are a lot of people who've gotten onto a plateau and they're like, they know they struggle because they're not able to lose weight more than this. But I think small changes maybe, or looking at it in a different angle will kind of help the person to really want to be like, okay, maybe we could try something else. Because even with movement, I feel like there is not one specific movement which allows you to lose weight, right? It really depends on what they enjoy. And there must be something, I'm so sure, for them to continue on that way. And also, it could be from the clinical side as well. They need to maybe get a checkup done to see what's happening.
Maybe they're having hormonal issues again, which affect weight loss, whether it's PCOS or whether it's endometriosis. Like those are things women suffer from, and then they get frustrated because they don't see the changes.
And see the changes. Not many people are aware
that they have them.
So when they go and get a checkup done, they realize, oh, I have PCOS, and that's when they then change it in a way where we approach PCOS to be able to help with what they want to do or lose weight.
Because I had the longest time, this sweet spot I wouldn't move from.
Okay.
A weight that I would I would lose my weight and then get back right there.
Did your clothes feel different? Because sometimes we try not to look at the scale and look at that number, because again, psychologically, for everybody, women as well, we get fixated to a number. But what we need to understand is muscle is more dense, which means that you're going to be,
same weight.
Exactly. Like I'm going to look completely different at 55 kilos of more muscle, lean body mass, than I am going to be 55 kilos of less muscle and a lot more body fat. I can even show you pictures of me at 55 kilos in both these states, and I look drastically different, Mifra. So it's not about the weight on the scale. If you can start looking at how your clothes fit is a better indication. Whether it's looser or tighter. And sometimes tighter does not mean you put on fat. Tighter may mean you built muscle and maybe haven't lost that layer of fat just yet. So don't be fixated so much on that weight on the scale.
So it's always advisable to have the body fat analysis done as opposed to just stepping on a weighing scale every morning, and you're like,
a lot of it is water weight, and our water weight's going to change from the moment we step on the scale in the morning to evening. So again, if you're getting on the scale in the morning and then wondering why you're heavy in the evening, it's because you drank water, your feet are, you know what I mean? Body's retaining water, food, all of that. So again, know why this is happening with our body, instead of being like, oh my God, I've just put on weight. Right?
Just like that. Like next day morning, you'll be like what, 1 kilo up from the previous day? For women, I think when you're closer to your menstrual, bleeding time.
Absolutely.
I don't know, I feel more bloated. I feel like
and that's our tissue's ability to store more water happens during that time. So again, people are like, oh, I'm bloated, or you know, I feel fat. But in actual fact, it's just temporary. If you take pictures of yourself across the cycle with no changes into your diet, as in you eat normally, you will see without any change, there's going to be moments where you look leaner. And that happens literally 3 to 5 days on your period and after. You look the leanest and nothing changes. So I can take a picture just before my period and just after with nothing changed, and you will already see slight differences in how lean I look and how my cuts show. And it's just hormonal fluctuations.
Let's get on emotional eating or binge eating. What strategies do you have in place for clients?
Oh, wow. Okay, so when it comes to binge eating or overeating, I think there are people who it's severe, and I think 100% they do need to consult a professional in terms of a psychological point of view, because there's so much of the psychological aspect to it. Because when you see someone binge eating, you can't just be like, you just stop eating that, like have an alternative. But there's so much more to it. But also what I tell when I help people with their nutrition, I always talk about mindful eating. Because the food you're eating, know what you're eating, the textures. It's just really knowing what you're eating in terms of the texture, the smell, the taste, and really taking time to appreciate the food you have. You know, because I have this really bad habit. I tend to smell my food, especially especially if it's like new food I'm trying out. It's just the way I do, because I really appreciate food, and even how
that's
food,
nice hearing from a nutritionist.
So I mean, if you could see me in like a public space, I'll be just smelling my food to see if it's like smells good or whatever. But I think that is important, because you being very mindful on what you're eating really helps you even to change and get the healthy habits in. Because if you tend to see the food you're eating and you see how colorful it is, how good it looks, and then trying to eat it, you tend to feel better. And that really helps with people when they want to change up their eating behavior. But when it comes to, as I said, severe binge eating, there's much more to it. And I think we really need to encourage people, if you do have a friend or a family member who is binge eating, always look to a professional help to see how we can psychologically unpack this and try to bring in the healthy habits. Because that's where it comes, right? Like unpacking it and bringing in the healthy habits. It needs to be done with a person who knows what they're doing.
Okay.